You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
We are the Cigar Nerds, bringing nerdy sophistication and geeky indulgence on all topics, including movies, video games, science, and pop culture news, all from the Nerd Cave Cigar Lounge. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever fine podcasts are found, including ESONetwork.com and CigarNerdPodcast.com. So fire up a cigar, it's time to get nerdy.
Hello, and welcome again to the Monster Sci-Fi Show. I am your host, The Monster.
Yay, and I'm here too.
Mr. G's back. We're
back.
Please
take the ball and chain off. It's starting to chafe a bit.
Where do I have the ball and chain sheet that's chafing?
My ankle.
Your ankle.
Oh, this was not pleasant.
Yeah, so for today's podcast, not that the ball and chain wasn't pleasant, but I bet it was much more preferable than the ball and chain is talking about Picard. So before we get started on talking about Picard, we're going to do a review of Short Treks, episode 1 through 6 for season 2. Now, if you've listened to my podcast before, I already talked about the first 2 episodes, which is Q&A and The Trouble with Edward. But you had not seen it at that time when it was released last year.
No, because I like saving money.
Right.
And yet I was, in the past, willing to invest money into the CBS All Access idea because, you know what? The season 1 of Star Trek Discovery was okay. I enjoyed it. It wasn't canon, but it entertained me, and it flowed. So we're going to go with that. Then season 2 happened. Then I was like, no, can I get my card back, please? I just don't. Yes, new Trek. Isn't that important? It's all we got left because there's not going to be a Star Trek 4.
And there's no Star Wars, so fuck everything. We got nothing. No Kenobi. No more trilogies. Original character's dead. Picard's dead. Everything's dead.
Picard's not dead. He's got
We're all dead. Everything is dead. Everything's all screwed up.
We are all going to die at some time in the future, Monty, but the idea is
the future is now. So going back to Short Treks.
Yes, say the name.
Say the name.
What episode are we talking about?
Well, let's start off with the first one. Because since you got to watch everything recently,
Q&A.
It's more fresh in your mind than it is in mine.
Yes.
Spock at number 1. Spock at number 1.
I had no problem. Q&A was cute.
Yeah.
I liked that it's Spock's first fucking day. He's an ensign. We've never seen that before. He beams on board the Enterprise and he's like, I am the shit.
Right.
I am awesome. I am on the Enterprise. And he is smiling. And
right.
I like that number 1 catches him. Thought it was weird that number 1 is looking at her own placement, like an ego boost. Like, my name is Una, and I get to steer the ship. I'm like, why would you need to? Okay, whatever. Right. But I did enjoy that she is militant.
Right.
And strict. And like, you've been on this ship 37 seconds. You have until I get the turbo lift to ask any questions you have. And I expect you to berate any crewmate that you see to annoyance.
Right.
And then, sure, the tropes of like, of course, the turbo lift breaks down. Right. And of course, you're stuck with Spock on the turbo lift. And he's going to interview you with questions. And I like the whole, like, no one ever talks to elevators.
Yeah.
And then just let's not waste the time.
Now, when you look at the trailer, it just seemed as if, like, shit, I'm stuck here with Ensign Spock here, who does not shut the fuck up. But it's really her that's encouraging him to do this.
She's the commanding. She's the fucking commander on this ship.
I know. But the trailer doesn't play like that. It's completely different from what the episode plays.
Charade and charade. Let's end this charade. And then you watch the episode. Let's end this charade.
What?
You're like,
Riker does not say charade, but he did in the next full episode.
In the trailer, he says charade.
Yeah. Again, it's a reference to really being. which speaks
We're
about
super nerds,
right.
We're
It
just-
speaks about if you are a deep Star Trek fan, especially a Next Generation fan, you would know that when one episode aired, in which there was a trailer for the next episode, there was a line that Riker said, "Let's end this charade," which is really, when do you start delivering lines like Picard here? And then when we finally see the episode next week, he says charade, and I'm like, come on, stop that. But again, we're just uber nerds on that respect.
Yeah, we are uber nerds.
Yeah.
And I think we need to address that for a second.
Oh, we will. But what I liked about this is that, like you said, we've never seen this first day for Spock. And I thought that's the way you can write a story.
Okay, by the way, spoilers. If you do not watch these episodes, Misha, I'm talking to you. Just. But I'm glad that our voices put you to sleep because we're so boring. That's
Just like
great.
Picard. But it's the kind of situation I'm like, yes, you can tell a story that fits within this framework that you're not worried about fucking out the timeline like you've done with Discovery.
It was fun. I
Yeah.
liked it. I liked that even though very strange, the context of the idea of like we are so on top of our game. We're the peak. We're on the freaking Enterprise, and all the questions that he asked. I liked the fact that Spock asked about like Captain Pike's greatest strengths.
Right.
He's like this, and he likes horses. Do not say anything bad about horses. I'm like, there's some writer out there, some person. I get it. Just don't. Mess
Right.
with-
And that's the kind of stuff that I, and you as a fan, get that reference. We get those appreciations. That's what we want to see more of. But sadly, again, this is just a short Trek.
But it was fun. I liked it until
Yeah.
she decided to sing the Pirates of Penzance song,
Yeah.
which I guess that if you are a militant overachiever that wants to succeed, you're all going to learn that song.
Right.
It felt weird to me, though, that, well, you don't know the context of the song. It showed up in Insurrection when Data went a little off kilter, and Picard and Worf seemingly sang it together with the dots.
Right.
But I get it. That's fine. Thank you for educating me, Star Trek. And Star Trek has, always had a little bit of foot on literature. The quote from Moby Dick, "You broke your little ships.
Yeah.
You broke your little ships." And then Picard has this quote, and
Right.
she's like, I never read that.
Right.
But-
But a lot of it comes from the fact that we appreciate, I think more so with Next Generation than the original Trek. Not to take anything away from the original series, but for us, we grew up with Next Generation being like our James Bond, so to speak, because that became endearing to us. And not that we didn't like the original series, but to me, I've always enjoyed everything about it. Even Shut Up Wesley grew to be an enjoyable character. So, but with this, I think what Discovery did in season 2, which you did not like, but I think one of the strengths we both agree is that I want to see more Captain Pike. I want to see number 1 and that Enterprise.
Yeah,
I would be happy with.
I'm sad to say this, but I will admit it. I you know what? Discovery is fine, but you gave me Captain Pike, and you because you're reforming history as we do the show. No, I'd rather follow Captain Pike on the Enterprise than Discovery. But again, it's not important. This is all hearsay, and we're going the wrong direction. The idea is to build.
Right.
The thing is, you have a paywall in front of this, and I do not envy any CBS executive working for CBS All Access. How do we create excitement?
Let's put it behind something that you have to pay for. No,
it's not bad.
No,
It's
because the thing
just-
is, the excitement builds when your fans want everything and anything that has its name on. When Next Generation came out, we had action figures, we had T-shirts, we had whatever we wanted, and now you'll be proud to wear the merch.
But Discovery didn't catch that fire.
Yeah, except for wearing a disco shirt.
I would have worn a disco
I know
shirt.
you would have worn a disco shirt, but I don't think you would have worn a disco shirt out in public. All right. So let's move on to Trouble with Edward.
Oh my god.
This one relies on the fact that, hey, we're bringing back the Tribbles. This is kind of an origin
So this
story.
is the guy that
That's
the
Boss
guy-
Burgers.
he's Archer, I guess.
Archer,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see him get it work, but I'm like, all right, you are clearly incompetent. The scene where he's in his underwear,
Right.
And I'm like, no, that
Right. That's the moment you took me out of this situation because you had, let's say, Reginald Barkley.
Again, if you haven't seen these episodes, please subscribe to CBS All Access. It's $5.99 a month with commercials, or $7.99 without. But you don't have to.
I
do
thought
that.
it was 9, like 7 and 9. Whatever. It doesn't make a difference. When you see Reginald Barkley has kind of his weird quirks.
This guy is just incompetent.
Right, but that's the thing. I'm like, okay, I can understand a guy like that being on the ship, whatever, but him being in the underwear, not even space underwear, like they did on Enterprise, that's the kind of thing that
Wait,
started
the episode Tucker and
right,
DePaul.
they're the long pants.
We need to
Well,
get these gels on ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, we want those sexy bodies.
close-ups that's smearing the jelly and all that fun stuff. But here, I just felt, no, don't. This is, I think, the beginning of the wrong direction that the short treks are doing for this season.
No, but the short treks to me are, hey, if you all have Disney Plus, do you watch Pixar Sparks? Pixar Sparks to me are like the idea of like, we have talented people here and we can't come up with a creative idea, so let's let you create your own creative sparks. And I am fully supportive of any child, any experiences you have on your own. There are tough ways out there in the world. And I'm facing with my own mom with autism and senility, and it's rough. And to be able to have an outlet for that.
And that's fine. But in the realm of Star Trek, this is not like fan fiction when you do the Strange New Worlds
I'm just saying.
anthology.
I'm
Right.
just saying. These short trek things have just do what you need to do. Give us a story. And the problem is that we've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in this, and it's great. If it helps your child, that's amazing, and that's wonderful. But the thing is, these short trek episodes are supposed to build and make people want to come back. Disney Plus has no problem with that. We can do experimental things and just, here you go, bah. But with something like the fledgling network of CBS All Access, which to my opinion is fledgling, it's the idea like, we have nothing. Let's spend $1 million or $1 billion on Star Trek Discovery. This idea of just rehashing Star Trek, which again, season 1 was great, but subsequent seasons and then
The Twilight Zone we have.
the
after
Twilight Zone. The name of the producer,
Jordan Peele.
That's a lot of money you're investing in one guy's ideology to save your dream.
Right, to continue
isn't
in between.
bad,
But it's not enough for me to say, I'm going to not only watch that show, but I'm going to continue watching everything else behind the paywall that I can see already on CBS, but I'm in the wrong demographic to begin with, which is the other problem. Unlike Disney Plus, in which if I feel like watching an animated movie, I have that option. If I want to see The Mandalorian, I have that option. And soon we'll see MCU stuff on the Disney Plus. There's a lot more programming that will catch your attention. For
Disney
us,
Plus though has many cards.
right. Whereas CBS, you're just rehashing the stuff that, again, it's not our demographic.
Yeah, but I root for the underdog. The underdog is.
I thought you're fighting for the user.
I do fight for the users, but the idea. It's a fledgling industry, and everyone has to grab the dollars as they fall from the sky. I mean, look, CBS All Access doesn't have an easy job. Disney has more, and they got Fox.
So going back to Trouble with Edward, the whole problem that I had is the whole Tribble shit, which is ridiculous.
It was I hate to say they do this. They're experimenting with Star Trek.
Right.
Just like with like Ryan Jameson. Like, just take the Star Trek universe Star Wars universe, in any way that you want. It doesn't work that way. if it's a beloved franchise, it should be respected. And you should have meetings with just people that understand and like, let's not go too far.
Right. And what goes too far, aside from the underwear bit, is the little commercial at the end of the damn
I didn't even
track.
see that. You had to tell me about that. I'm like,
Right.
wait, what happens at the end of it?
Right.
You just go back and watch it. I'm like, wait, do I need alcohol?
No, but you should, because it's god awful. The problem lies is that we talked about Batman can be done very serious, very dark, but there's also another side of Batman in which it can be comical and very campy.
Parody is earned.
Right.
If someone else likes you enough to parody you, that's great.
But
if you parody yourself,
that's
try
the
and
problem.
get
That's the problem. Exactly.
views, no, you don't do that.
Right. You do not do that to yourself like that.
But yeah,
And that's where it's like you're shooting yourself in your foot to make a fake ass commercial about triple cereal. Like, that's funny? No.
look, we need to work through our way through these short tracks.
Yes, we do.
Because the idea is this. I watched the short tracks in between with a friend of mine, and the thing is, the Picard thing is, look, the idea is get a congruent narrative. The congruent narrative thing is engaging, and do not disrespect the past. But the thing is, as you try to grow to reach out to get new viewers, which I understand why you're doing that, you can't break the paradigm that you have currently in front of you.
right. And that's
Which
what,
this does
Right.
clearly, because they just want popularity. They need to be concurrent.
Right.
I understand how important that is to you. But wow, these short track things were frustrating to get through. And again, yes, I will admit that Monty Monster and I are super fans. And you can be super fans because, we nitpick. We do. But the thing is, when you watch a story and it's not congruent and it doesn't have narrative future and it's not satisfying, when you break the rules that previous things have stipulated as fact, it's frustrating and a little painful for people like you and I think.
right. But on that same token, because, we've had issues with Star Wars recently.
Yes.
How things have
And
been.
we have an idea. I have an idea that we're going to try in the near future.
Right.
That I think hopefully will revitalize that, because I want to love Star Wars and
Right.
be happy about it. These are dark times. Oh gosh, the monologue, the opening crawl for Empire Strikes Back. What does it
The
say?
dead speak. Wrong one.
No, bad. Thanks for ruining my.
My setup is gone now. Thanks.
We're super nerds, but not super nerds. It's fine. Okay. Anyway,
Yes, we are.
go ahead. What do you got?
But like going back to the thing with JJ and making the triple blood be the super blood to bring back James Kirk and Into Darkness back from the dead is bullshit. So it goes along that way of, I have no problems if you're trying to introduce something new that we've never seen before, a new point of view. But like with Trouble with Edward, the whole aspect of the tribbles being that, we'll just beam it onto the Klingons, and that's how they started the whole thing against the tribbles. It doesn't work in that sense.
I honestly think this. I think that, when you're trying to build a timeless ideology with science fiction, when you're trying to break new ground,
Right.
George Lucas had that in spades. Even though we, again, you created and you wrote and you directed Episode 4, the original Star Wars, Star Wars, in 1977. That was groundbreaking because it was original and it came from the heart. It was a world that opened up new territories for science fiction. And that was great. The thing is, when you try to replicate that, when you try to recreate Lightning in a Bottle, if that's your goal, stop. Lightning in a Bottle cannot be created like that.
Right.
It has to be organic. It has to come from the heart. And do not try to replicate ideas you've seen work before, because it never ends well.
But we've seen Dave Filoni, for example, also be a talented storyteller that is under the tutelage of George Lucas. So, granted, he is not like in any power of he's going to be the next director for Star Wars.
But Dave Filoni oddly directed a whole bunch of the Clone Wars episodes.
Right. And they're fantastic. So that's where you have to have someone who cares about the project itself. Never once do I feel like Alex Kurtzman is in charge of a creative force. It's been a mess across the board, and there are moments in which I understand where he's going with, but the execution of it is all garbage.
The problem you have with Star Trek is that they've watched the mistakes of Kathleen Kennedy and how difficult that's been. The fact that the Obi-Wan series has to go on hold.
Right.
That's it. That's your nail in the coffin, Kathleen Kennedy. You fucked this up.
Right. Even though Star Wars made $1 billion, that's not the issue.
The idea is you want it to be beloved. You want people coming back. And although there's a small majority of people that understood and liked Rise of Skywalker,
right,
and I am kind of among them if I don't have to pay for it, because it's not bad. All I wanted to be was...
It's not a Star Wars movie.
But I just want to be... Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not Star Wars. It doesn't build on the mythos. It doesn't care about the characters. It's not legendary. It's not iconic. But that's fine. Because it's been 47 years. I get it.
Right.
You're going to run out of fuel. But with Star Trek, what they're doing is they're like, okay, let's not make that mistake. So let's get all the executive producers. Let's...
Too many. We have 5 on this show, where I think it was 7 on Discovery. Again, too many executive producers.
But the weird thing is, it's a wild card situation, because they're like, well, let's bring Patrick Stewart in. The only way Patrick's going to come back is if he can dictate some ideas about storyline. And that's okay-ish if he can tell stories.
Sub Rosa.
The fact that he directed that. He didn't write that.
I know, but still... It's just like, hey, let's have Shatner direct, Star Trek 5 after Leonard Nimoy. Sure.
Again, I apologize. We are super nerdy here. But the fact that you let a talent into the creative field, but the thing is that he's played that character for, over 10 years? Over 12 years? However long he's played. He knows that character.
Right.
And because of that, he's become part of that character. So, of course, if he wants to say something... Sure, take notes.
Right.
But don't let it run the story, which, I don't know, when I watched that first episode of Picard, not to get there too soon, I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
But let's finish short
But
treks.
like with short treks here, we do get one, which is the last one, that kind of ties into
which
Picard.
we were not warned about.
Right.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a dampener or a diaper like, and now in this timeline, because I'm like,
because
right.
we'll get there in a second, but that's the weird thing. But real quick, Ask Not is the third one. Ask Not is the episode in which we got this prisoner here. We want you to watch this guy.
That was interesting. I didn't mind it. I knew immediately
exactly
that it's a Starfleet training psychological test from like the time with Wesley and that situation. Immediately I knew that.
Right.
I didn't mind it. Like, your husband was on that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right.
I'll remember you. You wanted the Enterprise.
It wasn't bad. It
wasn't
the worst thing.
Again, I'm in there because Pike's in there. And I'm watching this because he's like, what the hell's going on? I knew it was kind of like on that kind of level, but because it's Pike, I'm already fucking invested in.
I loved, and I was thrown back, like, why would the captain of the Enterprise fucking take the time to do this? But it worked for me because Pike during the during that first that season of Discovery when he was in, I'm like, no, I believe in him. I would stand by him. I enjoyed the portrayal that the actor's name I don't remember right now. He did it great. He's very compassionate, very kind, very understanding, and it even goes back to the Q&A episode. Like, he'll listen to you, and then he'll change his opinion. It's great.
Yeah.
And I had no problem believing that, no, if I'm a captain of this ship, I would take time out of my schedule to help a new potential recruit into the situation. But I'm like, okay, but then you're never getting anything done, but fine, whatever.
Yeah, I mean...
He's an overachiever, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But, again, these are about Pike's crew, because we have 2 episodes, episode 1 and 3. The second episode, I don't know who that's referring to, but so far the short tracks ties in nothing to Discovery whatsoever. Whereas the first season, everything that we saw led into, except for the last one with Harry Mudd, led into an episode down the road. So, after Ask None, we go into the next one, which is Ephraim and Dot.
Oh, my God.
Which is an animated, weird story about a tardigrade who was looking to lay some eggs. And
that for some reason the Enterprise suddenly has this automated system, like in Wall-E, that cleans up after it and obsesses about it for over, 20 years?
Which is the weirdest part, because he is able, the tardigrade, Ephraim, is able to lay the eggs in engineering, the old-style engineering room, but yet it's chasing it through the years.
Which tardigrades can do, so I don't have a problem with it. But the fact that Dot, whatever that thing is, follows it through time.
Right.
Doesn't rust away, doesn't get replaced.
But to add more insult to injury is that the Enterprise also is changing through the storyline, which is like, wait a minute, if you're doing a retrofit, those eggs would have been, and again, I'm being way too analytical here, but you would have found those eggs and done something about them. So it's ridiculous that that's even still happening.
Okay, but the tardigrade may be at a time phase. I don't know.
But it doesn't make a difference, because the problem lies that those eggs would not be there.
If the maintenance crews did their fucking job.
Right. All the way till the end of Star Trek 3 when the Enterprise is blown up.
Which was cool. I like that. Look, my friend, coworker, like, what's going on? I'm like, this is the end of Star Trek 3.
Right. Whereas the first Enterprise that we see is with Khan, a scene out of from sickbay from the original Trek. So wait a minute. What version are you fucking doing of Star Trek? The 2011 Into Darkness? No, you're talking about the original stuff.
The problem with this that I had was that the creators, let this happen.
Yes.
You shouldn't let this happen. If you're going to, if you respect what you're doing, if you understand the continuity of what you're going with, don't do this.
Right.
And yet,
it's a lower place.
But it's meant as a time capsule. Through time, but yet... Okay, so you expect me to believe that I will accept the tardigrade,
right?
But I will not accept the fact that there's this maintenance robot,
right,
that freaking cleans things up we've never seen before,
or security.
It's a freaking
yeah.
It's a Disney Wall-E reference
right.
that just I'm out here to do my job and clean things. No, and that's not going to be maintained. Right. It's not going to be updated.
Right. Whereas the drones that we see in Star Trek Discovery. Like, when the hell did this ever happen?
But I will give them this. If you use your imagination. The problem is, if you let me use my imagination and allow this to happen, then it's no longer science fiction to me.
Right. It's not even that.
It's not based... look, you didn't have these before. Where did this come from? This is why I kind of understand your frustration,
right,
Monster, with the whole Discovery Season 1 thing. Like, they didn't fucking have holograms back then. They don't have fucking, simulations like that.
Right.
That happened to Next Gen. But we have them now. I'm like, I understand your frustration with that. And this pissed me off towards that. I'm like...
Yeah, and I warned you. That
Did you warn me?
I said, you're going to hate this. Like, a lot. And it's...
But there's a Sulu. There's an Asian character.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, there's Abraham Lincoln. And I'm like, oh...
Yeah, the Abraham Lincoln thing was like... Oh my God!
The hand.
Could you not?
And I'm like,
pick a worse. Yeah, there are iconic moments in Star Trek. If you were still watching, which by this time, you really have to be a diehard fan to understand this. And yet, if you're a diehard fan, you're offended by this. I think
it was neither cute nor adorable. whatsoever.
Sadly, what they were going for.
Yeah.
But I think they let go of continuity. Again, I don't know who's doing this. I think they were just like, who has an idea?
It's like,
I have this idea. What's the idea? Tell me the storyline. This, and this happens. Like, all right, go with it.
Yeah.
Here's some money. Okay, whatever. Because you have to build short treks. The idea behind short treks was it's a moneymaker. It's a tease.
Right.
It was a tease to try to get Netflix to bite.
Right.
But Netflix took a loss on Discovery. They're like, no, we don't want that. $2 million? No. $1 million? No. $500,000? Eh?
What?
No.
What if we blew you? No.
What if I do this? Gene
Les
removes
Moonves, get on here, hands and knees.
No.
Let me show you what you can do. But the problem lies is that it's an animated short. It's trying to be not Disney-esque or Pixar-esque. It's the weird tone that...
Drinking. Sorry.
It's the weird tone that the short trek is taking. It's not known for. Star Trek animated TV series was fantastic on its own
and
merit.
the graphics on Ephraim are great.
Right. But
the problem is your narrative is terrible.
Right.
Your story is, I get that you want to take us through a tour of the history of the Star Trek Enterprise, and you're picking your own iconic moments, and that's fine. But the problem is you're making us focus on characters that could not exist.
Right.
And even if I had the whimsy to like, yeah, that's fine, Star Trek wasn't like that. It's not a fucking Disney cartoon.
Which is one we're going to get into, I think, Lower Decks is animated, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of going in that kind of direction.
You really want to start that?
No. I'm thinking if that's what they want to do, that's what they're setting up. But the way things are going, I don't think we're going to get that.
I refuse to say anything about something I haven't seen now.
No, but it's animated is what I'm saying.
I know. And the animated stuff on this, because, okay, let's finish our comments on Ephraim Dot and then go to the next one, because that was also animated.
Right. This one is the girl who made the stars. This is the kind of Discovery connected because it's Michael Burnham, a very young Michael Burnham.
Before her parents were killed.
Before her parents were
killed.
Or before her mom disappears forever. 1,000 years in the future. I forget why she gets scared or something, but she is holding Ephraim, a stuffed Ephraim.
I got that too.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
And I'm like, you don't have the Las Vegas thing anymore. You're not going to sell that.
Right, it's not going to be a thing.
The thing is, look, for a series like this to work, you have to sell toys.
Right.
It's some revenue. It's $20 a figure. It can help.
Right, this is not Baby Yoda. Stop making Ephraim a Baby Yoda. It's not.
Misha, I know you like Baby Yoda. And stop sending me the memes. I get it.
Send him Ephraim memes.
You know what that is.
Exactly. Maybe that will help curtail. So the dad tells a story about how this little girl who the elders...
It's the first Slayer. It's the first Slayer story.
Slayer. And how...
There were no stars. There was just darkness. I'm like,
yeah.
all right.
And I'm like, okay. Don't know how this is going to be connected to Burnham in the future. Unless that somehow she tells a story in which there are no fucking stars. Wherever
She's
that
filming
means.
Space Jam 2 right now, I think. I don't know.
Whatever. It doesn't make a difference. So here I was just like, again, with the animated short, I really didn't care about the story because it didn't feel like it was connected to anything.
It wasn't connected. It doesn't matter.
No, but that's the problem is that you set up, except for, again,
it takes place too early for anyone to care about it. It
Right.
doesn't change the timeline. It's not narratively important to the whole story. It's just backstory if you're interested. It's
Right,
like
but
Toy Story 4.
Who gives a fuck? That's the problem, right? If I'm paying for this and I don't give a fuck about this, that's the problem. At least I will give Discovery Short Trek Season 1, like,
They fit. They use it.
And
like
they
the
set up
3000
shit.
AI guy. That's coming up in Season 3.
Right, Calypso,
The-
fantastic. Everything there is set up for second season.
Feedback.
Right. So
Coming back to you.
It's
all
perfect.
coming back to you.
It's
the boomerang.
It's perfect. As best as Discovery can be, that's what you need to do.
I like this.
But here, nothing is connecting to Discovery whatsoever. So again, We have a young Michael Berta. And I'm like, and nothing. It doesn't connect to Discovery so far. And then we run into the last episode.
I'm sorry. We're gonna do the the Jim Sharman thing. Fuck. Never mind.
Never mind. Take 2. So going now to Children of Mars.
This is a Peter Gabriel video, right?
I don't know what the fuck this was.
I knew who the singer was. It was. Just,
it's a public service announcement.
I know what timeline we're in. I'm like, oh, okay. Then the Utopia Planitia thing starts blowing up. Like, I get it. All right. This is a Picard timeline.
Even then, I was just like, what the hell is this shit all about?
Tragedy brings people together.
No, I understand.
Like 9/11. I'm like,
But were they in the museum or they were in school? Where the fuck was the school? Because like
I've never seen more irresponsible principling than that.
Yeah.
Okay, you just fought and kicked the shit out of each other. Sit next to each other.
How long does it take for someone to come in and break up the fight? A long time. Like they get off a couple of good blows, and I'm like, I'm sure someone break out the little 24th century phones and breaking and recording this on space
security,
YouTube.
I mean, I get kids will be kids, but oh my god,
they're really going at it. So, all right, whatever. And then again, what throws me off is this taking place in a museum? Because there's an image of Picard we see. I don't know if it was a newscast, like this is what we're doing live. Because, again, I wasn't sure if there was like a school trip that just went to the museum and they're talking about what happened before.
Pretty sure that's where they go to school.
Okay. Again, out of context, I had no idea what the fuck it was going on or what it was trying to say, other than, is this a fucking music video that I'm watching? Because that's what it felt like. And it was weird.
CBS All Access, if you're listening to this, which you're probably not, please stop doing short Trek videos. You are not helping your cause.
Or short Trek music videos.
Again, experimental things. I am all for exploration as long as you move the narrative forward. Yeah. Again, this is a side story. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't feed in. You want to feed me in, bring the old legendary characters back. Right. Bring back Geordi. Bring back Data, or she's in the episode. Ish. Bring back Worf. Captain Worf. He'll do anything.
Riker on Titan. Why not? You know.
Did you read any Titan books?
No, I've always wanted to get into Titan, but one of the things that I've always felt, going back to Next Generation, is that all we knew was just the original series. We knew now Next Generation. And I always felt that universe could always be expanded to talk about other ships and other crews that were not called the Enterprise or...
You could do that, but
right.
Again...
So,
again, Peter David had a great Excalibur series that I loved.
Right.
Oh, my God, I loved that. And I can't believe I saw him at the Dragon Con 2 or 3 years ago, and I didn't say anything to him.
He looked in bad shape, too. But...
And I had a book on me, and I didn't realize. I'm like... He looks so sad. Gene talked to him like, I don't have anything. And I did. I had a book on me, but I just didn't.
But health-wise, he was going through a lot.
He is going through a lot.
But I loved his ideas that he can take these minor characters from other, like Dr. Sayla from
Solar,
from a couple episodes that we saw in Next Generation.
And she becomes a primary member of the Excalibur crew and potentially has a lesbian relationship potentially with a bisexual person. That was great.
So that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, you can do this. You can play with that universe in such a way that you're not tapping in or you're not breaking into anything that's already been established. Because that's the things that the writers are talking about. It's like, how can we write about something that happens before when we have all this history to deal with and not fuck with it?
I don't know. I think that Star Trek is dated. It's dated. The episode where I can't remember the name of it. Beverly Crusher falls in love with a Trill. Do you know the name of the episode off the top of your head?
No. But I know what you're talking about.
But the thing is that he dies. The body dies. They put in a Riker. Beverly Crusher and Riker kiss because it's the same essence.
Right.
But then the time was too early because she transfers to a woman.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, that's it. We're done.
We can't go any further.
In current times, it'd be like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But in fairness, DS9 moved the ball forward.
Yes.
So that's
Again,
fine.
Star Trek breaks the boundaries. The first interracial kiss.
Right.
And it's got things. That's great. But that would have been timely. But
Yeah.
And again, Next Generation is great because I think it was a very strong sci-fi respected show to really break ground with sci-fi tropes and ideologies back then. But it didn't break through the barriers. That lesbian kiss or that bisexual kiss would have been great. Didn't do that because it's not time yet.
Right.
Then 10 years later or so, Obama's like, I approve of same-sex marriages. Then it's fine.
Right.
Because then it's but we are victims of the times that we're in. They're just actors playing their roles.
But even then, we look towards Star Trek to kind of tell stories of our time to kind of reflect society. And it's always kind of done something like that throughout the ages. The problem lies that I felt even in my frustration is that what did Discovery do that mirrored or resonated to me in the exact same way? They didn't.
They didn't have to, in my opinion. Again, Star Trek Discovery for me was simply entertainment. For the first time in a long time, I paid something, $5.99 a month, whatever, and I got cinematic effects with a cognitive storyline and a narrative that I enjoyed, with characters I cared about. Again, Saru, Tilly, these are fine characters.
That other guy.
And it moved. Yeah, Ash.
Fuck him.
They did.
I
She
hate
did.
him.
I don't know. Stamets. But to move it forward to a point where, like, it's fine. Again, a homosexual relationship on the Discovery, and it's fine.
Right, but we don't need to see that big ass shot. That
was season 2. I'm not talking about season 2. I'm talking about season 1.
But you asked for it, that's what you're going to get. Ass shot. Season 2.
Look, again, I thought it was grumpy. You got Klingon boobies.
Yeah, which I was like, oh, is this the thing they're going to go and talk about?
You got cursing, and I had no problem with Discovery season 1. I enjoyed it. I'm fully on board with that because even though it wasn't canon, I don't care about it. You're entertaining the shit out of me right now.
Well,
very happy with it.
I think you had the ideas. It's just the execution of it that just didn't sell me, because you had. And I mentioned this before. I'm not going to go into details, but you had, for me, issues in which you had to bring about why does this look more advanced than what's going to happen 10 years.
Oh, my God. Would you let go of that?
No, stop. What I said is that these were issues that I have for me that stopped me from liking the show, right? The last shot in season 1, you see an updated Enterprise. Alex Kurtzman says, we're updating everything. I want everything to look like the movies. Fine. You update them with holograms that didn't happen before. You buy into what they're doing. So, like I said, I had a problem of like, this is too close to the canon. What did they do in season 2 at the end? Move it all to the future. Leave it all blank so you can do whatever the fuck you want. Okay? So they've done things that I've had problems with kind of in the right direction. Not that it's been like the greatest, because season 2 has been...
Season 2 is ruined because they try to please people that were like canonists, like yourself. Like,
which Pike...
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't figure in. But the thing is that Pike's performance on that was amazing.
Right, and that's
I couldn't believe
that's the
that
one
they
of the
went
cool
back
things.
to the original pilot that didn't air. They showed clips of.
Right.
You know, that was, oh my God, your fan service is great.
But I would have gone one step further, not to replace Jeffrey Hunter, but I would have refilmed those just to kind of keep it.
The show's called Discovery, not the freaking...
No, but it's all about Pike, season 2. Pike, to me, steals the
Pike
scene.
is the captain,
right?
Which is the
I have more reverence for a character that I do like, as opposed to Burnham, which I don't care. I don't have any connection whatsoever to her.
I like Burnham.
Saru, yes. Burnham, not so much.
Why? Because you can't relate to this character?
No, I love Saru more than I love Burnham.
look, I don't have a problem with the fact that Burnham is female, that she's
That's not the
African
issue.
American. I have no problem with that. She's just a character, a person going through tough times and situations. I have no problem with that.
No, I just don't like her character at all. It has nothing to do with her sex and her gender or her race. It has nothing to do with it. She's just a poorly written character. That's a problem.
I disagree. I think she's fine. The fact that they give her a pass, the fact that she has a bond with Sarek, the fact that Sarek picked wrong. They're like, look, they said Spock or you. I picked Spock, and I was wrong with that. And even the relationship with Spock coming back, like, oh my God, Spock, you're dyslexic? You have situations? That was fun. I like that. But the thing is, it didn't feel great getting to that point. It's like, and then this unpleasantness happened. You're like, okay, I'll open that box, but tentatively. It's all right. But I don't know. It's hard to embrace this because it didn't feel right. I'll give you that. It didn't feel natural. Like, we should have learned this in the movies. No, it's on TV. You're paying $5.99 for this. Same thing, but I get it. I get the break.
So when we move on to, hey, we're going to get a Picard series or Mr. Picard, we were kind of a little hestant.
Yeah.
Since when he made that announcement, Picard is back. No, Jean-Luc is back. I'm like, okay.
Are you sure about that?
Anyone else coming back? Let's start off with this. You saw Picard first, and you spoke to me. It's like, fuck this show. There was no fucking reason for this show. And I'm like, I've never heard you be that adamant about a show after one episode.
Seriously?
Yeah. Even I fucking hated Discovery, and I'm like, I was willing to give it a chance. You're just like, fuck this. I'm done after this one episode.
Canceling my subscription. Watch as short treks as you can. I'm done. I'm canceling it tomorrow.
And we watched this again before we did this podcast.
Yes, we did.
And did your opinion change about Picard?
I honestly feel, Monster, that the way I feel about this is, look, because I was, cancel. Then I woke up, I guess, Friday morning or Saturday morning, and I was like, I read an Entertainment Weekly article about it. I'm like, maybe I'm being unfair.
Yeah, because I read a lot of reviews.
But that's the thing. You read reviews.
Okay.
The idea should be you make your own opinion. Do not be affected by social media and whatever.
No. It's not that. But you want to, and this is again going back to our situation, because we're being very hardcore as we are with our opinions with shit. Is it that because we are so hardcore that we have such a high standard that a show like this may not live to our expectation because we've seen better shit?
It doesn't matter if you meet your expectations. The problem is it's still something that's in our heart. Again, the TOS, the original series, is not my Star Trek.
Right.
Next Generation is my Star Trek.
Right, it's our Star
That's
Trek.
the Next Generation I got to grow up with, and I have fond memories of that. And that's why I think they pulled it. That's why they went to Patrick Stewart and like, hey, you want to come back? He's like, no. But you'll be invited to the writer's room.
Right. They did everything to lure him in and give him kind of, not necessarily carte blanche, but to him to have a greater role in the creation of the series. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Look, the fact of the matter is I look at it like this now, currently. Let it go. I when I went to see Rise of Skywalker, all I said, when the rolling credits started, the LucasArts thing showed up, I'm like, just entertain me. And the thing is that I had been tainted by the reviews of it.
Right.
I watched, not the spoiler reviews, but like, it sucks, it's bad. I'm like, all right, I get that. But the things that skewed my opinion a little bit. I knew to be disappointed, and yet that's not how this should be. You should go with open eyes. I knew nothing about Picard when I started watching it.
Right.
I hadn't seen any reviews. I watched it raw, and at the end of it, I was like, the narrative doesn't make sense.
A lot of it does not make sense. So we'll get into the details. But I will say this. When you look at the first episode, you're supposed to be left with this feeling of, oh my God, I cannot wait to see episode 2. The big reveal at the very end where, again, sorry, spoilers if you've not been watching episode 1 of Picard, but they're on a Borg ship. That the Romulans somehow are reverse engineering a Borg cube. So
no, they're not. I think that's been established. I think
right.
they've been
So
doing that
that's
for
the
years.
thing. In the trailers, you see that already, and so there's no big surprise for me to like, wow, I didn't see that coming. I'm like, no, I saw this coming. So there was nothing to kind of get my attention for the next episode.
The weird thing for me is that my sister had asked me, like, would I like Picard? I was like, you haven't seen Nemesis. You have no idea about anything. No, because you need that background material.
Especially a lot of it dealing with Data.
With Data, right, which is what this is all about.
Right.
Picard feels guilty about the death of Data. He dreams about him.
He doesn't give a fuck about B4.
Or about Riker, or he's not fantasizing about his counselor.
Right.
I don't know. I respect this universe, though. That's the thing. I'm very hesitant to throw any flack at this universe.
Right.
Because this is my universe that I like. It taught me more about sci-fi. It taught you to read books, Monty.
No, it did. Star Trek
Next
Generation
I remember
books
I listened to you.
got me.
I heard that. I got it.
Yeah.
It's pivotal in our lives.
Right. And go back to our thing with when we watched The Ready Room, the one with Will Wheaton. And they talked about, and Will was talking about how I didn't want to disappoint Patrick Stewart, because he kind of ups the game and you want to do your best. And he felt like other people would also do that, from the director to the writer. So you would think with that they would kind of up their game. I didn't feel like, at least initially at this first episode, like that was the thing that I'm like, it was worth it.
That's the weird thing about this.
And I'm not getting off the point here, but I just recently caught up to the last episode of Lost in Space season 2.
Yay! Look at you.
Since we last talked for the New Year's, I'm more enamored with the writing, the stories, the story arc played throughout the whole series, as opposed to what Discovery has done to date. And this first episode for Picard, and I'm not saying the two are identical, but you can see that there's a difference in which it grabs your attention and you want to have more. I've never felt in this episode I had any inclination to say, oh my God, thank God that we have this series now. I can't wait to see more. I've never felt that. The two moments that I've watched this, it's gotten even worse. Not as bad as fuck this, I'm not watching this again. I never felt as like engaged, not to use his word, but I never felt engaged with this series. Now, having said that, Picard, Patrick Stewart himself, like we said, he can read the phone book and that's entertainment. I wish he did read the phone book, because that would have been more entertainment. But at least the moments that he had on screen, that's where I'm like, I could watch that.
Look, Monster, I will say this, and it's very simple, it's very pure. The idea behind any genre of any show you watch should be entertain, and if you can't, inform. The idea is, I think that Star Trek is filled with literary references, Moby Dick, Tale of Two Cities. Thank you for that copy of that. Yeah. Many years ago, I loved that. It was very fun. Again, Monster gave me a copy of Tale of Two Cities recently. I'm like, what is this? Best of times, the worst time. First line of the book. That's great. The idea, though, of any genre is to make you interested, and should be, I think, make you want more, to inspire curiosity,
right?
To make you realize the world is bigger out there.
Dunkirk.
I completely missed that reference. I saw the movie,
yeah,
but I know nothing about what that means.
But with that one word, there is that weight.
It's a moment in Picard where,
right. He has an interview, and he equates the mission that he had to do with Romulus was equated to Dunkirk.
But the thing of it is that sci-fi, that genre movies they're supposed to succeed, they should make the audience do research.
Right.
In my opinion, it's not just entertaining you, but to inform and educate and spark the imagination.
Right.
And if you pick up a book, like again, Star Trek is full of these things. The Moby Dick thing, pick up Moby Dick. I don't recommend it. It's not easy to get through. I've read it 3 times, I think, at this point. It's full of symbolism, and I get it. And you can quote it, and maybe I'll get it. Maybe.
Well, don't watch Lost in Space because they spoil it in season 1 what the ending is. We know how it ends. Fish fillets.
Filet of fish sandwiches? You like filet of fish sandwiches? Because you're going to get a lot of them. I don't know. I love the idea of science fiction because it sparks imagination. And the idea with imagination is it should spark original ideas inside of you. The idea is like, we've rained this template out, and we've gone this way, but you can go somewhere else.
Right. And here's...
What if you turned left? It's the idea.
Right. But here's the
It's
problem.
not a noble thing, yes.
We're uber dorks. Not everybody are like us would want to take that extra step. They would just want to be entertained on a very simple, basic level. That's the problem that I have. I've seen... Let me put it this way. The initial couple of seasons of Star Trek Deep Space Nine was hard to get through because it was just like, it's not grabbing my attention, it's not going anywhere. Until literally Sisko shaves his head, he gets the fucking goatee, he gets the ship, you bring on Klingons, you tell better stories. That last half of the series run is fantastic storytelling. Discovery did something interesting with bringing on Pike, and we've seen, more about that character, but that's just a character, not about the series overall. And with with Picard, even after just one episode, I don't feel we're going to get that level of the stuff that we want that would feed our souls. We'll just get a very basic, all right, here's a show, enjoy. And that's about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, in my mind, I realized, because again, saw the first episode of Picard the first time, thought, no, I'm not giving you any more fucking money. Because money is precious, and my time is precious, as is yours. But watching it and reading an ET article, that was just, it's bathroom read, whatever. Maybe it deserves a second chance.
Well,
we're just one episode in, and it does tell a compelling story. Watching it the second time with you tonight, I realized, it's a Cagney and Lacey kind of thing. It's not going to be solved right away. It's just a weird shift of the genre, though. Because it's not what I expected from this.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I would compare this to when you have the Star Wars trilogies, and you have the Star Wars stories separate, like Rogue One, and you have Solo. You can tell the genre stories like that are not part of the structure. I have no problems if Picard does stuff like that. I don't see right off the bat this whole thing with Daj and her twin sister being that compelling. I hate the fact that right off the bat, when you look at Daj and her boyfriend being killed right off the bat, that you have assassins going after her and doing the stupidest thing like, is she activated? No, let's wait a couple of seconds so she can activate, and then they get their ass kicked and beat and killed. And then she goes finds Picard, because she finds it in some kind of news clip while live from the interview, whatever that is going on. And somehow, boom, she magically appears in the vineyard, and she wants to seek help from him. But then the next day, where the hell she go? She disappeared. Moments later, we see that scene take place where she's on the run. She's calling her mom, And I'm like, I was just there. I didn't want to endanger Picard whatsoever. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm missing something from this scene because that's the whole catalyst of why Picard is being involved in all this, is because there's a connection from her to Data being the first daughter. Supposedly, that's not the case. What happened to Lal? Again, because we know the history of Next Generation, nothing mentioned about Lal, the first daughter that Data created. Absolutely nothing. So when you have that history, it bugs us. Whereas someone who doesn't know anything about Next Generation, no, that's Data's daughter, I guess. Whatever. And you run with it. Fuck no. So because we know things, that's the problem that I have right now with that storyline. It doesn't work in that level.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know, Monty. Oh God, they're all working to entertain you. You know,
but not on my level. That's the problem.
The problem is they're dealing with multi-levels. They may need to dumb this down for audiences. Again, Picard, my sister asked me,
I
"Would
know.
I like this show?" No. You wouldn't understand what's going on.
Right, and that's the
Because
problem.
you have to have the backstory.
Right. But that's the problem that I already have, the fact that you kind of disregard what has already been established. That's the problem. So if this is a catalyst, I really don't care about the story if that
No,
follows.
but Picard was designed to bring the viewers of Next Generation back, which I think it's done a pretty good job overall, I think.
Again, it's a very, as you pointed out, this is a little bit, and I didn't think about it at first, but it's a little bit more data-centric than initially that I first watched.
Data is the whole core of this.
Right. So
Picard
as
feels
such-
guilty about the death, and the cool thing is that we get to see Riker, we get to see Troy,
Not yet.
and then there's going to be this weird Borg thing that you're like, wait, what? The Borg and Romulan are
Right, but
confabbing? That's
again, we're kind of
we've never seen that before.
okay. But putting that aside, the goal is, you want to give kind of the remix of this new thing of our old characters now in this new setting, new situation to deal with. That's great, but the problem lies. What you set up in the first episode doesn't seem like it's a great launching pad.
That's the problem. That's the problem I have. Because you knew when I saw Picard, moments after, like, fuck this, cancel. But now I'm like,
Fine. I'll
there's
watch it
nothing
again.
else off. I'm watching Sequest. I don't care.
That's my line.
Like you with Sequest. Again, I asked you once, you were watching Sequest dedicatedly. Fine, you came into your house and you get points for turning on Blade Runner. That's great. The soundtrack, that was great. But then you watch Sequest. I'm like, why are you watching Sequest? And then I found 3 seashells in your bathroom. I'm like, I get this.
Right.
Came out. You understood then that we were friends for life. Because no one understood the 3 seashells.
No, but you did laugh through the door when the door, and I heard you laughing. I'm like, aha, he got it. He got the reference. So that's where I'm like, I love this guy. But the problem lies, again, we're frustrated with the things that we've been watching lately that does not live up to our expectations.
There's no-
Again, but it goes back to us being super critical because we have all this information. We have all this history. We have years of passion behind these characters and storylines that we know. And then this new stuff, we're supposed to kind of accept the way things are. And like, I'm all for embracing new stuff, which you have yet to see season 2 of The Orville. It is so much better than Discovery.
Can you hear this?
No, I
You want me
cannot
to turn it
hear
up
that,
for you?
Gene. I don't read sign language. But I would say Orville is still fantastic compared to Discovery. The problem lies
Fuck you.
because it's a clean slate, and I'm happy with that. Whereas you have a heavier lifting duty to fans like us.
Write your comments in this. We're debating.
No one writes comments, Misha, about our stuff. But the problem lies is that, again, it's going to be very hard to please us because we are such diehard fans. Whereas
Are we too hard on shows? Do you
that's
think?
what I'm talking about. I think we may be too hard on it, but like we had to rein it back.
But
I'm like,
we can't help it. We're pushed to this degree.
right.
We love these franchises so much. Again, the Rise of Skywalker thing that we did. The dead speak. No, I mean, it's rough because the franchises are failing us because the creative people behind it don't care or understand the flow that we're in.
Right. Whereas
you originally created something amazing.
right. Whereas Lost in Space, because of you, got me back into that. I really loved the fuck out of that show because, like you said, there's science involved in this shit. And we talked about this also, that in season 2, Maureen has this moment of she has to make calculations. And it's like, you want to put the ship at risk? No, it's not. It's called math. And it's a much better scene than fucking Tilly did in season 1, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or is it season 2? No, season 2. Season 2 is the math thing. It's power of math, people. Fuck that. Maureen was fucking killing it. That is something I buy more than I did with Tilly. And the whole thing, like, you want to go ahead and you want to show nudity. You want to go ahead and say, drop the F-bomb. Do it because it works for the story. Don't do it so it's for the shock value. Because her dropping the F-bomb because she got excited didn't work.
Look, we're in a different world now.
I know we're in a different world.
Where it's all about dollars. It's all about toys.
And there is no toys. That's the problem. That's the game changer right there. Star Wars, not so much on the toys. Star Trek, not so much on the toys. Those two big franchises. That's the problem that we don't have anymore of that.
Mats, don't you understand? I don't want to grow up.
You don't want to be a Toys R Us kid?
I am.
Because that's just, it's gone.
Fine. Fuck you and beat me my fucking punchline. I'm inebriated. I'm thinking a little slow, but you took my line. Fuck you. Look, the idea is this. Simple. Plain and simple. Give us good quality entertainment. Please respect the arts. And I get sci-fi is difficult. Again, I'm very happy that Joker got 11 Oscar nods?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And yet I still haven't seen it because you told me there's caregiving situations in that.
Yeah, well, I'm preparing you.
And I apologize by
just like
2019.
Had someone told you about Kubo and the 2 strings, had told you that.
Did you fucking watch that movie?
Yes,
yet?
I have. I'm saying if someone had told that to you before you watched that movie, would you have seen it? No.
You don't understand. I wept.
I know you did.
I take care of my mom.
I know you did.
And she's my last parent.
I know.
And I'm like,
but that's where
I just
had someone did that beforehand. Yeah, you would have not watched it. But because it's home, and not to say that it's effective, but sometimes that's a little too close to the heart.
It is. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm going through a difficult situation in my life, dear listeners. I'm sorry. I just.
It's not easy. And again, we do this podcast so that, we want to have some joy in our lives. But sometimes we get really frustrated when the shit that we're watching, I'm like, I want to say, I fucking love this series. I cannot wait to see more of Picard.
You can't say that.
I can't say that.
But I admit, because the Entertainment Weekly article, because again, my gut stink reaction is cancel. Don't want to watch this anymore because it's placation, and I get it. It's Patrick Stewart's wet dream, and yet Patrick Stewart, he's a great man. I respect him. He's a great actor. Hey, I got to see him in Macbeth when I was in New York.
Hate you for that.
You were on a flight, and my dear sweet fiance, ex-fiance at this point, but just do you want to see this show? I'm like, it's $200 a ticket. I can't do that. And she walked in. It was a matinee on Sunday. She's like, it's $18.50. You want to go? I'm like, yes. And I bought the tickets, and then I sent it to you while you were on your flight.
Yep.
You didn't respond. You never responded.
Oh, you know why. Fuck you. Got to see Patrick Stewart on stage on fucking Broadway doing Macbeth.
I had fucking nosebleed seats.
I don't give a shit.
You fucking ate fucking New York pizza in a fucking airport.
Well, coming from Miami, anything would have been better than what I'm.
The water's still there, dude. I get it.
Oh my God! But again, maybe that's what it is. Because, and I'm not saying our lives are just pure shit, but sometimes because we are so, please be fucking good. Please lift us out of our doldrums that this has to hit.
Look.
And I think that could be a big part of why, if this doesn't work, fuck, man, what do I have to look forward to? The Trump trial? You know, I think that may be a big part of why we feel like such a letdown with shit like
Monster,
this.
the idea is simply this. Life is falling down around us, but you have a family to support and take care of, as I have mine.
Of course.
And no matter what happens, you keep them happy, you keep them safe. And even if bad things are happening, you fucking hold them tight and say, it's going to be fine. And you make them believe that. You and I are looking at the outside world, and it's terrible.
Of course.
Because we're self-aware. It's difficult to pay bills and make monies. We have to make the best choices. But sometimes when you turn on the TV or go on the internet, it's like, just entertain me. Take me to a different world away. And when it fucks up on you, like, no.
Right.
I am not going to put more money in the fucking magic machine to fucking satisfy me.
Right.
Just, oh my God.
I'd rather go back to my fucking Sequest. Because at least I know this is garbage and it's not going to get better because I know in season 2 they go off into space and they come back and replace Roy Scheider with Michael Ironside. Still doesn't get any better, but still, I get it.
But watching the Picard episode, remember it's again the second time today, I began to think maybe we're being too harsh. And we can't help be harsh because we're doing rough times.
Right.
But the idea is this is escapism. But the problem with Picard is like, yeah, we're not going to let you escape yet. Yeah. Watch 3 more episodes or 4 more episodes. Right. But yet the thing is like, we like the actors.
Well, the actor. Let's be clear. It's the actor. One singular sensation. Every little step he takes.
He wasn't in that photo when you were at Dragon Con. He wasn't there. It was Worf.
No. It was Marine Sirtis. It was Gates McFadden, Brent Spiner, and Michael Dorn. All there at.
All not sure where to go to dinner.
They're like looking around. I was like, "Where you want to go?" No. I think they just came out of dinner because Gates was holding her baggie of food or whatever, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm this close to seeing the Next Generation cast, all of them, except for Patrick Stewart. But in all fairness, except for LeVar Burton, I've seen all the Next Generation cast. So
and even more of Denise Crosby. But that's not the point. The point is...
Yeah. But that's because I love Next Generation, and I have a fondness for that show.
You love the idea of this. It gave you hope when you had nothing.
Right.
And it showed you new ideologies and story ideas. It expanded your dreams as a writer.
Right.
It.
Whereas, because we know a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of stuff is going on that's terrible regarding maybe this may not hit. We may not get Section 31 after this. We may not get Season 3 of Discovery. Who the fuck knows? But there's so much writing on the success of the CBS All Access stuff that's ridiculous at times.
It's chickens in one basket.
Right.
It's all your eggs in one basket. But the thing is, it doesn't affect us. The idea that we have to do is just be entertained and watch if we want to. We get to choose, Monty.
Right.
And that ain't bad.
I don't know. But in any case, because we've been going on this too long, there's only 1 fucking episode. We have better stuff to look at. I still have to show you Watchmen. I rewatched the first episode and I fucking loved it.
I hear it's great.
Right.
And yet no one watched it because it's behind that paywall.
Well, it's HBO. And in fairness, HBO, you have an expectation because they have other shit there too.
You did Game of Thrones. Oh, but then you disappointed with season 8. Yeah, I get that.
No, because I was not an ardent fan with that. So a casual fan, yeah, it was fine, but I understand it rushed through, and I felt that because you could definitely expand that last season to 2. But
I got lucky with that too. I didn't care about it.
right after
My friend that was like, "You'll love this show." I'm like, "Can I watch the show?" She's like, "You want to watch the show? Come, sit down.
Yeah.
Here, let me dust up the cushion." And I watched 7 or 8 seasons of that, and then the last season, she's like, "This didn't happen. Erase this from your memory." I'm like,
yeah. So I mean, we all have our passions. We all love our stuff, but we get to that point. It's like, well, how come you love this thing you used to love, but not anymore? Well, it's because it's like when you know a band that is kind of like underground, that you knew about it like 5 years before everyone else, and then as soon as it becomes big, everyone loves it, and it's like, oh, fuck them now. You don't want them to sell out, but I don't want to say that Picard is a sellout either. But Next Generation was an amazing thing for us. Even All Good Things is one of the few TV series enders that is still high on my list. It's one of the best episodes that I've ever watched.
yes, but I think the idea is they backed me in the corner. Do you want to give me money or not? I will give you your money. I again, I watched the show, and my initial knee-jerk reaction was cancel.
Right.
But watching it a second time with you and calming down, because there was a lot of expectations for this show, I think.
Uh-huh.
And again, I would be so much happier. Don't do the mystery shit. Just have Picard go on a bender and just, hey, I wonder what William Riker is doing.
Right.
And Troy, how is you? How are you doing? Do you have a child? Visiting Geordi or Worf. That would have been enough for me. Just a travel log. Even though it's not entertaining, it would have been fine with me.
Right.
But you can't, that's not good television.
No, it's not.
But I would have been happy with that. But this is okay. The thing is that I'm like, all right, I'll follow you through your convoluted, strange-ass bitch situation with
Right.
Maddox. Again, the friend of Data who tried to recreate it, who tried to shut him down the first season. I'll follow you through that, but if you didn't pay this off,
We'll be pissed. Because it's only 10 episodes. So we'll see what
but
happens.
it's been renewed for season 2.
Yeah, and Patrick
And
Stewart
please, Guinan, come back.
went on The View. It says, I want to give you a formal invitation. Guinan, would you join me on season 2? I'm like,
How can you say no to that? I know you wanted the middle square on the Hollywood Squares, but how can you say no to that?
so let's talk about this again at the end of the season. And let's see how the show fares. All right, so that's going to be the end of our Star Trek Picard. I still don't like Star Trek Picard because they didn't trek anywhere. Although it's amazing.
Star trekking across the universe. Always going forward,
always going reverse.
Yeah,
Klingons off the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. Klingons off
it's
the
life,
starboard
Jim,
bow.
but not as we know it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Wow, that was terrible. Okay.
You see, and where's that for Discovery? There's none. There's nothing like
Give
that.
it time.
Give it time. No, I don't want to give it time. Where's my muffin, Matt? So we're done. So again, we'll watch the series. We'll talk about this.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yes, but I thought I should go to
What about Command? We'll see.
All right, so Gene, thank you very much for joining on this podcast about Picard.
An honor and a privilege, sir.
And I hope you guys, please, would love to share your thoughts with us.
Oh, please. Just even mess with our heads. They just like, let's just play with them. Like, whatever. Just
Yeah, anything. I mean, if you loved it, great. I really, trust me, and I'm not being facetious here. I really want to know what you guys are thinking out there about this because, again, we live in our own little bubble. And luckily, I found someone else that kind of has similar thought process. And not to say that that's our point of view, but again, the whole thing about this podcast is that it's science fiction from a certain point of view. This is ours, and I want to hear from other people. So I can talk about this, we can have a dialogue about this, and just shoot
throw
off
out
of
a
that.
message in a bottle.
I'm trying to think of the rest of the lyrics.
Message in
a
a
bottle.
bottle.
Thank you. All right, so on that note, remember to follow me on the various social networks. Oh, and I finally took pictures of my curio cabinet. That I
Oh,
finally
it's
got.
amazing.
It is.
And yet you have very few figures. You have very few Marvel figures.
I don't
Your
have
handful
that.
of Star Wars figures?
I did not display the Marvel figures. Let's clarify that. Because I did 2 windows of Star Trek, one of DC, one of Star Wars, and the Godzilla and King Ghidorah. I'm gonna have to fix that because
The strange pajamas in the background.
that was me.
And
Because there's a
Blade
mirror.
Runner.
I'm like, I'm trying to take a picture of me
Yeah,
not
I
being in the picture, and I'm like, screw it. At least I'm during Batman pajamas. But you don't want to see that. But you can find it on my Instagram page. So again, follow me on that. Follow me on Facebook or wherever you follow me on. Wherever. I don't care. But email me at monsterscifishow@gmail.com. So thank you for listening to us on the Monster Sci-Fi Show. It's sci-fi from a certain point of view. Good night.
Night.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.